colleague, High Commissioner of South Africa, fellow diplomat of the High Commission of Guyana, Mr. Trivedi, Professor Sanjeev Tewari, Dr. Giri, President and Chairperson of the Girmitya Foundation, representatives of the Maharaja Agrasen College, ladies and gentlemen, friends, Namaskar, Sitaram, Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, and as we say in Suriname's official language, Goedemiddag. Standing here today at the 6th edition of the International Girmitya Mahotsav 2025, I feel not only honored, but deeply moved. This Mahotsav gathering is more than just an event. We are here today not only to remember history and reflect, but in my opinion, also to renew a promise to our ancestors who crossed the Kalapani, to our children who must carry the light forward. Today, on the occasion of Girmitya Mahotsav, I wish to speak especially about the journey from India to Suriname and the legacy of the Hindustani community. Between 1873 and 1916, more than 34,000 men and women left the port of Calcutta for Shri Ram Tapu, as Suriname was pronounced in those days by the Arcatias during recruitment. If you twist the name Suriname just a little bit, and you're not so educated but you strongly believe, then Suriname becomes Shri Ram. That's why it was called Shri Ram Tapu. Our ancestors left as indentured laborers, as Girmityas, a name born from the word agreement, the Girmit they signed. 84% were Hindus, 15% were Muslims. The first ship, the Lalaruk, arrived in Paramaribo, our capital, on 5th of June 1873, a date Suriname now honors as Indian Arrival Day. They came largely from the Bhojpuri and Awadhi-speaking belts of eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Hindu and Muslims, agrarian in skill, rich in oral tradition, poor in worldly possessions, yet determined. Life, as we know, on the plantations was very hard. The 5-year contracts often stretched into a lifetime of toil. But out of hardship, a community took root. Our ancestors brought language, music, cuisine, faith, and above all, resilience. They saved, bought small plots, turned cane and cotton fields into homesteads, founded mandirs and masjid, stitched villages into associations, and taught their children to read the world without forgetting the script of the heart. Over generations, indentured laborers became farmers, traders, teachers, artists, and public servants, builders of modern Suriname. While preparing this speech, I remembered a remarkable book that captured the very soul of the Girmitya journey, Kahe Gaile Bides. And that's this book. I brought it today to show you. The title itself, which means, why did you go overseas, echoes the cries, the longing, and the sacrifices of those who boarded ships in search of a future unknown. This resource book is not only a historical account, but also an emotional bridge that connects us to the voices of our forefathers, their pain, their resilience, their songs, and their unbroken spirit. I wholeheartedly recommend this book to all, especially to the younger generations. By reading it, you will not only understand the history of indentured migration, but also feel the heartbeat of a community that has transformed hardship into hope and exile into identity. In Kahe Gaile Bides, the past speaks to the present, reminding us that our shared heritage is not a burden, but a source of pride and strength. Rather than treating Girmityas as footnotes to empire, Kahe Gaile Bides restores their names to the sentences of history, showing how migration was not a fall from home, but the making of new homes across oceans. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hindustani community in Suriname, descendants of the Girmityas, stands as a powerful interaction of identities, proudly Surinamese, deeply connected to India, and open to the world. Our legacy teaches pluralism as strength. Our ancestors prayed in different ways but worked side by side, contributing to Suriname's mosaic of indigenous, African, Javanese, Chinese, European, and Indian heritages. Education as emancipation. Every generation moved the line forward, learning Dutch while preserving Bhojpuri. Looking ahead, we need to turn memory into momentum. We can create a platform where pillars to connect the next generation with the Girmitya history. We can create a digital Girmit portal, a multilingual hub, hosting ship manifest, plantation records, family trees, and photographs. We can invite crowdsourced uploads with community verifications. We can have Girmitya Youth Fellowships for young researchers and artists to build public-facing projects, podcasts, short films, apps, and micro-museums. We can have annual youth parliaments on diaspora futures to convene young delegates from all Girmitya countries to debate climate, AI, trade, and culture grounded in shared history, focused on shared solutions. This Mahotsav celebration can also be a diplomatic opportunity. We can, for example, institutionalize a Girmitya countries roundtable alongside the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, co-hosted by India, and a rotating Girmitya nation to coordinate scholarships, museums, and archives. We can launch a joint initiative, digitizing fragile records in India, Suriname, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Fiji, Mauritius, South Africa, and beyond, using common metadata so families can search across borders. We can expand academic mobility, dedicated Girmit research, fellowships, and student exchanges. We can promote heritage tourism, curate a Girmit trail in India's embarkation districts, and a heritage circuit with sister cities, partnerships, and community homestays. Let this Mahotsav be our pledge to remember and restore what was lost, the names, songs, and stories, to reimagine what is possible when memory fuels innovation. When someone asks, Kahe Gaile Bides, we proudly answer, so that we might build many homes from one heart, so that our children could stand in the world with rooted feet and outstretched hands. In closing, I would like to thank the Government of India and organizations like Girmitya Foundations, and also remarkable persons like Dilip Giri, Ms. Shweta, and many more, for their commendable work, their efforts and dedication in keeping our legacy, our identity, and our cultural linkages preserved. May the courage of the Girmityas be our compass. May the creativity of our youth be our sail. And may friendship between India and all Girmitya nations be the steady wind that carries us forward. Dhanyavad, shukriya, and thank you.
अगर आप ये वीडियो YouTube पर देख रहे हैं तो हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन को दबाना ना भूलें। अगर आप Facebook पर ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं तो हमारे पेज को लाइक करें।